So Respawn have kind of surprised me by putting out these weapon update notes. I didn't really think I'd be making another Apex video until about July, so, you know, Season 2. And I read these notes a few hours ago. I've kind of just been thinking about, you know, what my opinions on them are, kind of what they're going to affect, and I just kind of want to talk about that. So let's get stuck in with the words. Okay, so first of all, we all know the L-Star is coming. And the video for it was pretty much self-explanatory. It's going to be a fast fire rate, slow projectile, but big bulleted monster. Drops out of a care package, and you can't refill it, you only get limited ammo. But to me, that's the most boring part of this update. The rest of it starts to get a lot more interesting. So we're getting two different ammo types, disruptor rounds and hammer point rounds. This is where things are starting to get a little bit more interesting, because the alternator and the RE45 then gets disruptor rounds, which increases shield damage. At this point, we don't know how much it will buff it by, but it will be very helpful in the early to mid game, because then you'll be able to burst down people who have shields when you might not have found one yet. Or you might have a level 1 or 2 shield and they might have a level 3, it might just close the gap for you basically. The other type of rounds, hammer point rounds, will increase damage to unshielded opponents, which will mean early game the P2020 and the Mozambique will be potential choices. Again, we don't know how much by, but this will mean that essentially the early game choice of a Mozambique might not actually be bad, which is definitely going to be weird. And now for something I didn't really think I would see in this update, and that is the fact that they have buffed some of the lesser used weapons such as the Kraber Flatline P2020. The Flatline definitely sounds promising because at the moment I would rather just punch people. However, I also am curious how they're going to buff the Kraber because it already one-shots to the head and it's a two-shot to the body. And I say two-shot very generously because even if a fly flicks you in the eyelid, you're going to go down after you get hit with a Kraber. But while we wait for specifics on that, we are going to be looking at the specifics of the Arcstar changes. Now for me personally, if I found Arcstars and I had other grenades, I would throw away the other grenades because the Arcstars were way better. It seems that Respawn think that's true as well, because they've increased the time it takes for them to detonate, as well as made it so that the edge of the explosion no longer pretty much gets rid of all your shields. Because anyone who's played for a bit will know that if you stand even just on the edge of the marker of the grenade, it will just get rid of all your shields even though you think, oh, I should be okay here. However, they have also given it a small buff by making it so if you stick a full health player with no shield, they will actually just go straight down rather than just taking a load of damage. Although moving past that, if you're into your bling and you like showing off, well guess what? New gold weapons. The way it reads to me is it says a set of gold weapons, so I assume we're going to get at least 2. I'm being a bit prejudiced, but I really hope it's not a gold Mozambique. But underneath that you'll notice something that surprised me quite a bit. And that is the fact that they are going to be nerfing the shotgun max stack for the ammo from 64 to 16. So anyone who used to run with a shotgun and a wingman, you are going to feel the pain quite a bit on this patch. Because just like the rest of us, you're going to have a bunch of ammo in your backpack. The flip side to my surprise is the fact that energy will now be 80 stack instead of 60, which is going to be great for me because I really like using the triple take, and if I can find a select fire receiver, the Havoc. So if you're an energy fan like me, you're in luck for Season 2. But now for the last little bit of balancing, which is that airdrops are going to be slightly more spread out in terms of the loot table. We're going to be more likely to find Krabers early game and more likely to find Mastiffs late game. And obviously the L-Star is going to be sprinkled on the top as kind of like a garnish really. But really all this is meant to do is make the early game supply crates that bit more valuable and the late game ones feel a bit more, you know, compensating with what they're giving. But we will have to wait and see how this all comes together, although judging from what I've read it does sound very promising. It sounds like it's well thought out in the way that they've done that. Making weapons like the P2020 and the Mozambique actually useful will be really good, because if you drop next to those at the moment, you can pretty much guess, unless they are as unlucky as you, you're probably going to die. Or if not die, just have a very, very, very frustrating time trying to kill people. But it is kind of nice that Respawn have given us something before the update even drops, just so we can kind of know what to expect. My opinion on these notes are really that it's been really well thought out, to be honest. Nothing in there jumps out to me as too much or too little, it just sounds like the right nudge in the right direction. But until we get specifics on weapon buffs and nerfs that are going to be coming with Season 2, I guess we'll just have to wait and see. But that is pretty much the end of the video, so I will see you for the next one.